Market downturns can be unnerving to even the most seasoned of investors. So sometimes it just takes some perspective to get ourselves through these types of times when markets are fluctuating. Now, why do they go down? Well, number one, maybe that earnings of a company have gone down or the expected earnings have gone down, and therefore investors won't pay as much for a stock because the future earnings would be lower. Another reason would be, and this is what we're really seeing right now, increased risk. If we have more risk and more concern, we don't really know what's going to happen. As an investor, I'm not going to pay as much for a stock. I'm going to pay a lower price to hopefully compensate myself for taking that risk. And if you think about it, when you hear that there's a market sell-off, on the other side, there is a market buy up. There's somebody that's willing to buy in order to get the expected return that they would get for taking that additional risk. So anytime there's a seller, there's a buyer on the other side. Remember that when you hear these people say there's a market sell-off. Okay, so let's look back at history. Let's say that I was an investor that panicked, and I'm going to use the rate of return of Treasury bills for this illustration in the year 2021. And then I'm going to use the rate of return of different asset categories in the time periods that I'm looking at. So I'm going to look at an investment mix of large U.S. stocks, S&P 500, CRISP 910, which is small or microcap U.S. stocks, FAMA French Value, and FAMA French Small Value Index. So I've got a four-way divided portfolio, divided equally between those four asset categories, versus the rate of return of Treasury bills recently in markets, and say how long would it have taken for me to recover from various downturns in history. Now let's look at the Depression first. Depression, we hit the market low in 1932. And if I had bailed out and I put my money in the Treasury bill and using the illustrated rate of return, it would have taken 5,118 years to get back to where I was at the beginning, to recover my losses. That's a long time. How about if I just stayed in the market? 4 years. Now, that was a long time, but 4 years is quite a bit shorter than 5,118. Now, if we look at 1974, we hit the market low in December of 1974. How long did it take if I just stayed with my stock market portfolio to get back to even? About 1 year. How long if I had gone to Treasury bills? 1,338 years. A long time. Now, how about the 2008-2009 downturn? How about that one? Well, that one for Treasury bills, 2,191 years, and we probably don't have that much time. Whereas it did take just about under 4 years to get back to even with that one. How about 2020? The 2020 last, when we had that last big downturn. With T-bills, 1,012 years. With our stock portfolio, 8 months. So as you can see, bailing out and getting nervous and getting scared usually doesn't pay very well. As a matter of fact, it actually creates a lot more problems in the long run. And market downturns, they're fairly normal. When I talk about market downturns of 10% being something that happens historically from 1951 until today, on average, once per year, when we see what we're dealing with so far this year, which is about, not even 10% as I'm doing this video, it's something that happens about once per year on average and nothing to get really all riled up and worried about. So, getting perspective on market downturns is really helpful, and coaching like this is why I do it. Because I've seen this over and over and over again in my career, and my goal is to help you become a confident investor that doesn't panic or worry when market downturns, which are inevitable, happen. And I hope this helps.